watching more Muffins, and I shall take this time, instead of talking about Muffins, I will talk about a completely other show called 12 Forever. But I started watching a new show called 12 Forever. It's actually pretty dang good. I'm actually kind of invested in it. You should go watch it if you're into cartoons and all that jiggity jazz. So hot dog, hot diggity dog, let's go watch some, let's go listen to some ponies kill each other. Welcome back, Karate Squirrel. Time to, this episode's called Payback. Payback,
Derpy Hooves was humming to herself as she entered Sugar Cube Corner. She trotted into the kitchen and opened a metal door, descending the stairs to the dark basement.
Yeah.
Pinkie Pie was already down there, setting up tools and essentials needed for today's playdate.
Yeah.
There was a lavender-colored stallion with a gray mane strapped to the table, unconscious. His cutie mark was a rainbow, except it only had purple, orange, and yellow. Derpy trotted over, a huge smile on her face, her scarf composed of cutie marks waving in the air as she moved. "Ready, Derpy?" asked Pinkie Pie, and Derpy nodded.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. The, Rainbow Road Trip, the mayor guy, bro, his singing and, the Rainbow End song thingy. Oh. Man. Oh. See, now I want to listen to it now. Freaking Frick Nugget, man.
Grinning. "I've got to go see Applejack, but I'll be back by the time you're done. You can handle this, right?"
Sure.
Yup, said Derpy. Pinkie Pie waved and bounced up the stairs out of the basement.
Bye, Pinkie.
Derpy was confident, pulling her scarf off and setting it on the table with painted pony skulls. Then she paced in front of her playmate patiently, waiting for him to wake up.
Who is it?
It was nearly 20 minutes before the stallion regained consciousness. Derpy fluttered in front of him, smiling. The stallion opened his eyes and gasped lightly, looking confused.
"Where am I?"
he asked weakly.
"Who are you?"
Who are you?
Don't remember me, Spectrum? Asked Derpy calmly, still smiling. Spectrum stared at her, looking into her crossed eyes.
I went to flight school with you,
he replied.
"They kicked you out because you were a terrible flyer."
Is that...
Okay, wait. I have a proposal here. Instead, why don't... I actually... You know what? I have a suggestion. How about we kill Blue Blood? Nobody likes Blue Blood. Everybody hates Blue Blood. Why not? Why can't we just choose Blue Blood? Yeah, let's just choose Blue Blood. Let's torture him. Yeah. Just Blue Blood. Perfect suggestion.
"All you remember?" Derpy whispered in a surprisingly sadistic tone. Spectrum began to feel scared and chose to not respond. Derpy's smile disappeared as she shot away from him, her hooves clacking as they came in contact with the concrete floor. "Maybe I make you remember." She took almost an attack position, leaned forward, and began to shout, "Cross eyes, Derpy has cross eyes! Retard, Derpy is a retard!"
Oh, damn.
Spectrum's pupils contracted, and he began to struggle against his bindings.
"Derpy!"
he exclaimed.
It's nice to see you again."
Derpy let out the loudest, ear-shattering scream she could muster.
Into a hole, buddy.
Spectrum winced, being forced to listen to the wail because he was unable to cover his ears. Derpy stopped screaming and took a big hop towards her captive. "I know what retard means now," she whispered, her yellow eyes glowing with rage.
Oh, damn.
"Just because I don't understand so good as other ponies, don't mean I'm retarded. I'm a pony just like all of you. I have a cutie mark."
Okay, I'm sorry I teased you,"
Spectrum cried, trying to flap his wings, but there was barely any space to move them. "No, you're not," said Derpy, pacing in front of him.
Bruh.
"No one is ever sorry. They laugh at Derpy because Derpy can't fly so good or talk so good. They talk behind Derpy's back. They talk real slow because they think Derpy can't understand fast talking." She suddenly grabbed a scalpel and held it up in front of Spectrum's face, the blade about an inch from his nose. Beads of sweat started forming on his forehead as he stared at her weapon. Derpy briefly retrieved her homemade scarf from the table. "See this scarf? It's made of cutie marks from ponies I've made muffins into, but it's too shortish, so I need more." She tossed the scarf onto the table again, moving her scalpel away from Spectrum's face and towards his right flank.
"No! Derpy, no! Please!"
he pleaded, and Derpy sneered at him. "No, I think I won't stop. she replied, and carved very slowly.
You know what? What would happen if Bulk Biceps got picked as a victim? Because he's pretty dang strong. I think maybe Bulk could probably break out. Yeah, how would they do? Yeah, how would they do Bulk Biceps? Yeah, that's a question, man. That's a question.
Slowly around the tri-colored rainbow as the stallion howled in pain. Blood dribbled from the cut and down his leg, staining his coat. Once Derpy was done with the circle, she slowly and carefully peeled the skin away from the muscle. Spectrum was actually shedding tears at this point. Derpy went to his other flank.
He was actually shedding tears. Like, he wasn't shedding tears. No, like, he was actually shedding tears. Like, actually, though. Like, that's something I do. That's something I say. I'm the actually person. Like, actually, though.
Flank and did the same thing. When she was done, she wiggled them in front of Spectrum's face. Blank flank, blank flank, Spectrum is a blank flank, she sang.
Derpy, let me go.
Spectrum huffed, his body trembling from the pain.
Just let me go and I'll leave Cloudsdale. I'll move far away from Ponyville and won't ever bother you again.
No, I can't have you go because I need Muffins, said Derpy, setting the cutie marks on the table.
Bruh.
Besides, then I won't get... She furrowed her brow.
Muffins,
What did Pinkie
scraps,
Pie call
scarf.
it? It means to hurt someone because they hurt you.
Revenge?
Spectrum suggested, and Derpy stomped her hoof on the floor. Revenge! Yeah! She grinned up at him. You made me sad, and now I make you sad and make you into muffins.
Don't I get points for the
Actually
revenge
going to
thing,
kill
though?
me and bake me in muffins?
Spectrum shouted, not wanting to believe his ears.
I think
Of
you should
course,
get good boy
said Derpy,
points for the
as she set her
revenge.
scalpel on the metal side table. She then took Pinkie Pie's favorite hacksaw and waved it in the air. I don't fly so good, Spectrum. Are you a good flyer?
Yes.
You won't be a good flyer no more. Derpy viciously grabbed one of Spectrum's wings and started
Derpy,
sawing
you're kinda
through it
just
violently, splattering
Copying
blood all
Pinkie
over
Pie
herself
right
and
now. I'm
Spectrum's
not gonna
cheek.
lie.
He screamed like he'd never screamed before, struggling with the pain and clenching his teeth. Aw, you sound like a little filly, Derpy giggled when she sawed the wing completely off. I wonder what I'll do with your wings. I have my own, but maybe Apple Bloom will want them. She moved to his other wing and sawed it off as well. Then she set both wings aside and smiled at Spectrum. No more good flying,
Derpy!
No more good
Spectrum
flying.
gasped, his face soaked in tears. Keep talking, it gives you stuff to do when I cut you up, Derpy replied, examining
Damn.
the table of implements, debating on what to do next.
You're gonna give him
Spectrum
the
let out a
anesthetic
soft, defeated
thingies?
wail, hanging his head. She noticed the hot
doesn't
coals
feel
Pinkie
anything?
had set up, and then nodded with delight. She took a long, thin metal rod and set it in the coals to heat up. I need something to put on my hook so I don't get an owie, she said, more to herself than Spectrum.
Gloves?
Derpy wandered around the basement, looking for something to protect her from getting burnt. Spectrum lifted his head, watching her.
Please don't find anything, please don't find anything.
He thought desperately. Unfortunately for him, Derpy found a very dirty old cloth to hold the rod with. She returned to the table and set the cloth down, grabbing two unfamiliar metal objects. They were bent at each end so they looked like giant dull staples. Derpy forced Spectrum's mouth open, and as he tried to wriggle out of her grasp, she shoved the metal things on either side of his mouth, forcing it to stay open. Derpy
Oh,
giggled,
damn.
grabbing a pair of pliers in one hoof,
Okay,
the
this
cloth
is
in the
new.
other, and finally retrieved the rod from the hot coals. Spectrum started whimpering as Derpy grabbed his tongue tightly with the pliers, pulling
Oh,
it out as
God.
far as it would go.
Oh,
Then she
ew.
slowly, with great suspense, brought the hot rod closer and closer.
Oh!
The stallion let out a high-pitched scream as the white-hot metal came in contact with his tongue, sizzling as it burned the flesh. Derpy laughed maniacally, pressing the rod against his tongue as firmly as she could.
Damn!
When she felt it cool down, she tossed the rod away and jerked her pliers hard. There was another blood-curdling scream from Spectrum as his entire tongue was ripped out.
Damn,
He sobbed,
girl!
blood flowing from his open mouth. You want your mouth shut now? She asked soothingly.
No,
Spectrum didn't
I
answer,
want
just
water.
continued to sob.
Oh,
She
that
smiled
sucks.
kindly, taking the metal things out of his mouth. She watched him as if she felt sorry for him. Spectrum met her eyes, spitting out blood, thinking that maybe she was considering letting him go.
Please.
Derpy let out a shriek of laughter, bucking the pot of hot coals at Spectrum. He screamed as
No.
each rock collided with his body,
Oh
leaving
my
scorches in his
God.
fur and skin. Derpy hopped up and
Wow.
down, clapping her hooves with joy. Great show! Do it again! Do it again! She squealed. She picked up a coal with her
Wow.
mouth, not caring that it burned her.
Derpy, dude. Now, Derpy, I'm gonna prescribe you with some medicine here. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's called the chill pill. Frankly, I think you should take one.
Her lips and shoved it into his mouth instead. Ooh, I gave you a kissy! Derpy blushed,
Kissy?
giggling as Spectrum spit the coal out. His entire mouth was practically blackened by the burns. Derpy gingerly touched her own lips, which were a little red. Got an owie. Oopsies! With another giggle, she trotted around the room to let off
Don't
some
make this
excitement.
romantic.
She started singing a song that Pinkie Pie had taught her.
Yo.
I love to make you smile, smile, smile. Yes, I do. It fills my heart with sunshine all the while. Yes, it does. 'Cause all I really need's a smile, smile, smile from these happy friends of mine. Come on, Spectrum, smile, cheered Derpy, grinning at.
I don't know how to describe that. I don't know how to describe my feelings towards that. Also, the electric guitar just immediately came in after that. Just like, smile, like, damn.
Grinning at her guest. Spectrum's puffy eyes started to close very slowly. Oh no! Squeaked Derpy, and she took a syringe filled with adrenaline and injected it into Spectrum. His eyes burst open and he gasped, coughing as he inhaled a lot of blood. There we go! You don't want to miss the party! She trotted to her little table, scanning it over and trying to decide what to use. She frowned at her tools, feeling a little bored of them. She looked around the room, brow furrowed, and ears pulled back. Then she fluttered over to a large toolbox that Pinkie Pie kept in the basement and started going through the drawers to find something new. Suddenly, Derpy let out a loud gasp, picking something up with her teeth. Running back over, Spectrum saw it was a spool with some shiny silver thread on it. Look, Spectrum, said Derpy, setting the spool on her table. I just had a great idea. Pinkie Pie calls my great ideas brain smarties. She tells at me that I get brain smarties when I think of something very, very good, and
brain smarties?
She furrowed her brow, trying to remember the word Pinkie Pie had used.
Procrastination?
Productive. Derpy giggled and started unraveling the spool. Spectrum watched in fear as the thread sparkled in the dim light. Something wasn't right. The thread seemed stiffer than normal thread, almost as if it was made out of something else. Putting two and two together, he realized with horror that it wasn't thread at all. It was twine. Derpy was humming Pinkie's smile song to herself as she cut four long pieces of twine and laid them carefully on the floor. Then she explored the vast base.
Wait, what's twine? Hold on a minute. Searched up the twine, and didn't Derpy, or didn't someone, I think, didn't the narrator say, like, you know, oh, twine isn't thread? Google search time. Twine is a strong thread. Well, is it not a thread? Is it a thread? Is it the other thing? What? Hello?
To find a dusty.
What? Why did my... What was... Whoa. So, like, my headphones just, like, disconnected randomly and then reconnect... But the volume was still the same, and it... What? Moving on.
Dusty old yoke in the corner, which she pulled back into her working area. Derpy then began tying all four sections of twine to the yoke, but suddenly let out a loud "eep" as she accidentally sliced the skin above her hoof. She inspected the wound and saw that it was bleeding much more than a cut that size normally would have. Derpy licked it clean and smiled wide at Spectrum. "This string is real sharpish," she exclaimed. "We won't have trouble playing with it." Once she was done tying the twine to the yoke, she started tying the other ends to Spectrum's limbs. He groaned in fear, unable to speak clearly without his tongue, and tried to evade Derpy's advances. It was no use, however. Soon the twine was tied to his upper arms and both his thighs. At last, Derpy slid the yoke onto her neck and started slowly walking forward, away from Spectrum. She looked behind her shoulder at him, seeing he was wincing and struggling. Derpy gave a smile and a sharp tug. There was a shriek of pain from the stallion, which made Derpy smile wider. It was a disturbing smile, one that Spectrum had never seen on a pony. It was wide, her teeth were clenched tightly together, and her pupils seemed to constrict despite the low lighting. He had almost forgot about everything else while paralyzed with fear, but that didn't last long. With a piercing scream of a laugh, Derpy started running as fast as she could, the twine being pulled taut as a result. Spectrum's blood-curdling wails could barely be heard over Derpy's laughter as she continued running.
Dang.
The table that Spectrum lay on was firmly bolted to the stone floor, so it stayed perfectly in place. The twine began to cut into Spectrum's flesh, blood seeping out at a surprisingly fast rate. He was yelling in pain, just wishing it'd be over. At this point, he didn't care if someone helped him or not. He just wanted it to end. Derpy lifted herself into the air with her wings, flying fast and tugging the twine even harder than before. She pulled with all her might, telling herself that she was strong and that she could do it. Pinkie Pie will be so proud of me, she thought happily. Spectrum's scream became hoarse as his throat burned in pain. The agony on his limbs increased as the twine started cutting into the bone, and he suddenly threw up onto his chest. It was mostly blood and bile. He shut his eyes tight, panting and writhing as he heard cracking sounds. Finally, with one last powerful burst of speed from Derpy, Spectrum's limbs broke off of him, and Derpy ran headlong into the wall. She fell back onto the cold floor and lay there for a moment, trying to...
It just ripped off his limbs with a gosh dang rope? Or twine or thread or whatever the freak twiggity twine is?
Trying to regain composure. After a minute, she recovered. Getting clumsily to her hooves, she saw the arms and legs of the stallion lying on the floor in a puddle of blood. Derpy bounced with joy, leaping back over to the table and seeing Spectrum slowly losing consciousness again.
Not yet!
She shrieked, and gave him another shot of adrenaline. Once more, Spectrum was forced awake, his body burning with white-hot pain. Derpy held up a second syringe.
This is nummy stuff, she explained.
Nummy
so you
stuff.
don't feel ashy when I cut you open. Then we can still play while I harvest.
More tears poured out of Spectrum's eyes, but he had no energy left for screaming or struggling. Derpy shot him up with the paralyzing serum, and then patiently waited for a few
broke
minutes.
her spirit.
She watched Spectrum's face, unblinkingly, with that creepy smile on her face again. After about 5 minutes, she grabbed her scalpel.
Ew, you got sickish everywhere,
she complained, and took a rag to clean up the vomit on Spectrum's chest.
You sickish all over your chest. What's wrong with you? Stop being sickish.
I used to tell stories about the organs, but I got bored, said Derpy.
Now I sing songs. Pinkie Pie likes to sing, so I like to sing now too.
Spectrum watched as his own innards were pulled from his torso. Derpy began to sing.
Hello, Mr. Kidney, how are you today? We're having so much fun, come on over and play. Stomach can come too, but he needs to be good. No fighting with bladder, behave like bladder would. Intestine small, intestine big, so long like a snaky. They'll tie around the liver, making him all achy. No one is as bad as nasty old spleen. We don't like him at all, he is just too mean. Lungs can be balloons for our fun little party.
Happy pancreas.
We start without pancreas, cause he's already tardy. All that's left now is the big squishy
pancreas.
Heart. Now that we have him, the fun can really start.
The last organ.
Wait, the pancreas isn't happy. The pancreas is late. What do you mean the pancreas is late? I'm late. Am I a pancreas? Oh Jesus!
Spectrum's heart, which stopped beating in a matter of seconds. Spectrum's eyes were still open, but they were blank and listless, staring into nothing. Derpy giggled, picking up the bucket.
I had fun with you today, Spectrum, Derpy exclaimed. Thank you for muffins.
With that, Derpy carried the bloody bucket up to the kitchen where Pinkie Pie was waiting.
Bro.
While Derpy was cutting up the organs, Pinkie went down into the basement to skin and cut up Spectrum's remains. When she returned to the shop with the meat, she smiled at Derpy.
Wow! She exclaimed. You did a great job, Derpy! Thanks, Derpy replied. I wanted to make it extra special for him because he was my bestest friend at school. I owe him a favor.
That same creepy grin played Derpy's face, and Pinkie Pie
Who's your bestest friend at school? Okay.
Returned it with a terrifying smile of her own. The two ponies laughed as they made the muffins. celebrating Derpy's job well done.
Go suck it.